Are we in focus? Okay. Is it cheating if I take this opportunity where the kids are occupied to do numerous videos? So I wanted to touch on our overseas stuff. We found out several months ago that we were going to Okinawa, and I immediately put together a binder where I have all of our stuff, our pet stuff, just as things got, as we acquired paperwork, oops, sorry dog, as we acquired paperwork, it went in the binder. As we acquired paperwork, it got put in the binder. You know, we did our medical screening, it got put in the binder. So this is kind of where we're at right now. We are scheduled to leave in 4.5 months ish. So we have the dogs are ready to go. It's a happy dog. She's happy. Me and the kids have done our medical screening. We've done our dental screening. We are doing passports. I think we're going to try to do our passport photos this weekend, and then we'll do our passports next week. And then everything else is kind of out of my hands. That I've done everything that I can do. I have to let Paul do everything else. I've noticed from listening to different people talk and watching different YouTube videos that depending on the branch of service that you're in, it can depend on what and how this process goes. Paul is active duty Marine Corps. It is currently 2017, so the information that I have is current as to us right now. It may change in a year, it may change in 6 months, it may change if you are in the Army, it may change if you are in the Air Force. But for the Marine Corps, you know, it may even change if you're at a different Air Force base or military base. But so here at Camp Pendleton, as soon as we got our overseas orders, we got web orders. I went to the Naval Hospital, and I made an appointment with the overseas medical screening guy, and I got a piece of paper that lists everything we need to do in the order we need to do it in. First, each dependent got a packet, and I had to fill out the packet, and I had to take, because Evie's in school, she had a packet for her school, we had a dental packet, and then there was our regular health packet. If you're EFMP, which is Exceptional Family Member Program, you have paperwork you have to fill out, the education paperwork, if you have a child that's school age, dental exam. If you're a female, you will need a pelvic exam. If you're over 40, you need a mammogram. Pelvic exam is only if you're an adult female. If you're pregnant, you have to have information on your pregnancy. If you're being seen by a civilian physician, it says bring a copy of your last physical or doctor visit. You have to have your vaccines completed, and you need to make a copy of your vaccine record. Then you make an appointment with your regular doctor, and your doctor goes over everything, and they sign off, and they say you're good or you're not good. Even with the vaccines, I had to, because I'm an adult and I had my vaccines done when I was a kid, there were certain vaccines that I had to get a blood titer for that proved that I had the antibodies for, I had to do polio, hepatitis, and another one, I don't remember. But I had to do those, and then we got our dental screening. And so we got our medical, and then we got everything filled out. Then I took it back to the overseas screening guy, and I said, hey look, we got everything done. And he looked it over, and since our doctors cleared us, he signed off on it, and I gave the paperwork to Paul, and he took it to IPAC, and they do our area clearance, which completes our like sponsorship that says that we as his family are allowed to go with him. So we did our medical screening. We did the pet paperwork a very long time ago, back in August, because we were anticipating these orders and we wanted to get the pet stuff started, because your pet process will take 6 months, at least. So the pet, I don't know where I found this, but there's this ideal timeline. Let's see if I can get it. And it shows when you should get stuff done, the order to do stuff in. Your pet has to be microchipped. Your pet has to have 2 rabies vaccinations, 30 days apart. And after the second rabies vaccination, your pet has to have a Favin blood draw, which is a rabies titer to make sure that your dog or cat is actually immune to rabies or doesn't have the rabies virus live in their system. The day that blood is drawn begins a 180-day pet quarantine. So once that 180 days is up, your pet is cleared to go to Japan. If your orders state that you will be going to Japan before that 180 days is up, your pet will be required to stay on the military installation. So in a kennel, or if you get on-base housing, your pet can stay with you on-base housing. I've heard of people keeping their pet in their house off-base if they get an off-base house before that 180 days is up while they're still in that quarantine period. I don't know if that's permitted. I've been told it is not. So that's, if that's the situation you're in, that's something that you are going to want to try to find an answer to. Our pets have gone through this. They are at the end of their quarantine this month, I think. One other thing that we were told is if you have any of your vaccines done by an off-base vet, they have to be signed in blue ink. So I had to go back and get all the rabies vaccination sheets, certificates redone and given to me and signed in blue ink. If your pet has had their microchip for a long time, you're going to need proof of the microchip insertion date. So I had to go through all of our paperwork and find thankfully I keep all my pets' paperwork, but I was able to find the paperwork that said that they had their microchips inserted, like, I don't know, 5 years ago. So these little guys are ready to go. Now we're just trying to figure out how to get them there. Because another problem we're facing is we are moving in the middle of summer, and snub-nosed dogs like Boston Terriers, French Bulldogs, Boxers. These dogs cannot fly in the summer. There is a heat restriction, and they're being rowdy little monsters. And they can't fly. The airlines will not fly them. I've heard that the AMC Rotator, which is the military airplane that flies from Seattle to Kadena, will allow snub-nosed dogs. Why are you wet? But we don't know if we'll get on the Rotator, and the Rotator has very limited spots. So we are working on making other arrangements. Right now we've got 2 plans going. They will either stay with my parents and we will fly them out in the fall, or we will fly them early and we will board them until we are able to arrive. Either way, we're going to be separated from them for at least a month. So he's so sad. But that is where we are at now. Paul has been in the field all week, so we are not, we haven't made any progress this week. Hoping next week we'll get passports done, we'll get any other clearance stuff that he has to do will get done. I need to start getting rid of stuff because it's the Marine Corps. We are only allowed like 10 or 15% of our regular weight allowance for movement. Like when we move, they allow us a certain amount of pounds, and we're only allowed a small percentage of that. So we have to get rid of a lot of stuff. We do have the option for storage, but we don't really want to store stuff for 3 or 4 years, because unless it's really, I don't know, we don't have a lot of, we're just going to get rid of a bunch of stuff because we don't have to worry about storage. So that's where we're at today, and I will continue to update as we progress through this PCS adventure. Up next, we should have flight information on what we are storing, what we're taking with us. I don't know if we'll have any more, we'll have more pet updates. Pet dogs. And I'm going to take this notebook and I'm going to start making lists inside it of stuff that we're going to get 2 shipments of stuff that's going to leave the house and go to Japan. We'll get an express shipment, which is about 1,000 pounds. That is the stuff that we want there when we get there, or it will arrive shortly after we get there. We'll probably send kitchen stuff and some clothes and some bedding, so we have some stuff when we arrive. And then we will have our next shipment, which will be our household goods shipment, and that'll be the rest of that small amount of weight that we're allowed in, and that will have like our beds if we decide to send our couch, our TV, our entertainment center, our computers and stuff, our bikes, you know, whatever we're sending. So I need to start making lists of what's going to go in what shipment, and what kind of stuff we want to take with us on the plane, what kind of stuff we want to put in our luggage. Yeah, so, you know, follow along if you're interested in learning more about our adventure. Then subscribe, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments. This is happening to us right now, so I can't really tell you what's going to happen in a month or in a week. I can tell you what's happened to us up to today. So yeah, follow along on our adventure to Japan.